live. Starting to warm up a little bit in our part of the world, and happy to be here on this Monday post Super Bowl. So that means baseball's right around the corner.
Yeah, they come in tomorrow.
Yeah. So most teams are already going. I've been watching a lot of stuff from down there, and Battery hitting us off already with a question for you, Pop. Would you start Chipper Jones or Eddie Matthews at third base?
I start Eddie Matthews at third base and Chipper Jones at shortstop. No, I'd put Chipper. I would play Chipper at third before Eddie Matthews. Eddie Matthews had more power than Chipper, but Chipper's a switch hitter and hit for a higher average, and he probably had a few more RBIs.
And who was a better defender?
Chipper.
Okay. That's what I was going to say.
Listen, Eddie Matthews was a great third baseman, one of the best of all time. But Chipper Jones was a special dude. He was a special dude.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing? How you doing, Brian? Yeah, so we were talking a little bit before we started. Real quick, not real quick, give us your thoughts on the Super Bowl, since I have it on the headline.
Well, I watched the first two. First of all, I got sick and tired of every time I turned on a sports program, except MLB, of course. For 2 weeks you hear all this stuff, and you know the game's going to be one-sided. I mean, if Denver doesn't lose their quarterback, they're in the Super Bowl, not New England. So I knew it was going to be one-sided. So I watched the first two. I was watching the golf tournament and girls softball, and then I watched the girls softball. South Alabama came back and tied the game up in the sixth inning, and they went eight innings, and they beat Missouri yesterday. And that was really exciting softball game.
So I've been seeing some high. Well, we can continue on. We'll get into women's softball.
Anyway, I watched the first two series where the New England quarterback looked like he was a deer in the headlights, and that's it. I came in here, played games, and looked up some stuff on baseball, and went and read a book, and was reading a book, and that. And at 8 o'clock, I switched over and watched. She was watching. Your stepmom was watching. Then she went in the bedroom, and I went in there and turned something. I watched other stuff. The game was it was boring, and I just
that was 12-0.5 field goals, and I was like, and then they opened it up a little bit in the second half. The problem with, and I don't want to put it all on May at quarterback. You got to get in positions where the other team just brings the house, and you got to hold the ball because the guy's got to get 15 yards down the field.
First of all, you can't blame May for his offensive line.
Right.
He played the four best defenses in the National Football League in the playoffs, and all of them beat him up.
Right.
And so by the time then people didn't say. I just heard this morning. He took an injection in his shoulder before the game. And you could tell when he was trying to throw the ball in Denver, something was wrong with his arm. And he took a shot in his shoulder. And,
my point is in the first half, especially, they were third and long. Well, they were second and long and third and forever. So you have to hold on to the football a little extra for your guys to get downfield and open, to get the first downs. And he still has a little bit of college in him where he thinks he can do that. And he has a young offensive line. They'll be back. And and the other thing, I'm tired of hearing they had the weakest schedule. Okay, they had the weakest schedule in the NFL, not the Big Ten. You know what I'm saying? It's like they still played other professional football teams. They had 14 wins. So in those 14 wins, they still beat some pretty good football teams.
They played 11 teams that fired their coach. But
but still, and I'm like,
professional teams.
Right, and they still had to win all their playoff games to get into the Super Bowl. I know Bo Nix was hurt, but everybody was before that game was saying that Bo Nix isn't the difference for Denver. So is he the difference or is he not the difference? So I'm sitting here going, I'm tired. When I got to it, and I was like, these two teams, everybody was making up reasons why that neither team deserved to be there, but they were there. That's the two teams.
Well, Seattle definitely deserved to be. They're the best team in the game.
That defense is historical.
That defense that defense was as good as the '85 Bears defense.
Yeah.
The only team they couldn't stop was the Rams. That was the only team in the 3 games they played was the only team that moved the ball on them. The only one.
Right. Yep. And I mean, so
wait a minute. I'm sorry. I take that back. Somebody else had them beat, and they had to kick a field goal with no time left on the clock to win. 47-year-old Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers came in there and had them beat. You know why? Because he kept throwing little dink and dunk passes.
Right.
And the other thing New England didn't do, I watched the first 2 series and I turned it off because New England didn't do something they did in the playoffs and then during the season that helped them. They did not bring in 6 offensive linemen.
Right.
They used that 6 offensive linemen, some and either ran or play action passed off of it and threw the ball to the tight end, Hunter Henry. They didn't do that, so I said, that's it. I mean, I don't know what the offensive coordinator was thinking, but I watched the first 2 series and I said, this is not going to be a very good game, so I just decided not to watch it.
Yeah, the Seahawks was just ready. I mean, they did everything. It was a good game. Not good. It was. I'm happy for the Seahawks.
Oh yeah, I'm happy for them.
Like I said, I had no.
Yeah, I was rooting for New England, but I wasn't rooting for anyone. I wanted a good game. I'm fine with the Seahawks winning, and I'm so happy that quarterback got vindicated after he was almost ruined by the Jets. All right, let's get to baseball.
That's right.
All right, they're an important sport. Okay. The Seattle Mariners, they got Brandon Donovan, the infielder from the St. Louis Cardinals, in a 3-way trade. They got him this week. He's going to play third base for them. I think he's going to play third base because they had Suarez over there. Now he's going to play it. Now, why is that important? He was number 3 last year in the Rookie of the Year in the National League. So he's got some power, something that Seattle always needs. Let's see, Rays, they got third baseman Ben Williamson, who played at William and Mary. Cardinals got center fielder Ty Pete, right-handed pitcher Herangelico Singinji, another eye chart, and outfielder Cotton Ledbetter. All right, Arizona. They signed first baseman Carlos Santana. Now, I don't know how old he is, but he's on Social Security. 1 year, $2 million contract. Now, 13 teams are asking MLB to broadcast their games now. I read that. There were 13 teams. But Atlanta and there's one other team thinking of doing their own local broadcasting. That was brought up by one of our listeners last week. And that is true, that they're looking into it. Let's see. The Tigers.
Azuna to the Pirates, Battery says.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got that. Now, okay. That was today. The Tigers, their pitching staff suddenly looks a little bit better. They were the ones that signed Framber Valdez. So here again, it's going to be the Orioles. It's going to be,
Mets was in it, yeah.
Yeah, the Orioles and the Mets. That's who's going to sign them. And then the Tigers got him. The only thing that didn't surprise me, the White Sox didn't sign him. That's what didn't, because the White Sox signing everybody else. Right. So anyway, Framber Valdez is going to got signed a 3-year, $115 million contract. The Red Sox got Isaiah Kiner.
Can we stop right there for 1 second?
Yeah.
Also, that just shows I wouldn't see Scooble get moved this year. No,
they're going to keep him. They're going to keep him, and I think they're going to pay him because he did get the largest. He got arbitration. He got the $32 million. They were offering 21, and he got 32. That's the largest difference ever for that for arbitration. Let's see, San Diego. They signed utility man Miguel Andujar, 1 year, $4 million. And let's see. They
So
also
Jeff from Detroit said the Valdez signing shocked everyone in Detroit.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, and Battery, he was in Atlanta, who lives right down the street from the ballpark. I thought the Braves would sign him if it was a 1-year deal. I think everybody, if you follow your local sheets, dirt sheets, or whatever you want to call it, like I do with the Mets, I think everybody had some way that they're going to have sign him.
Look,
yeah.
Let's get. I'll just get this out of the way right now.
Right.
Atlanta doesn't need him. If Atlanta can have one of the best teams in baseball, they can have one of the best 3-4 teams in baseball this year if they stay healthy.
Right.
Last year they were hurt. They were the most injured team in baseball, and that's why they didn't do any better than they did. And
not just it was two crucial players.
Oh yeah, the pitchers. The best pitchers. I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Now let's see what else. What have we got out? Oh yeah, the Orioles. Mickey Lolich passed away. He was 85 years old. He was the 1968 World Series MVP. He pitched 3 complete games in the 1968 World Series, beat Bob Gibson in the 7th game on 2 days rest and pitched a complete game. Now these guys can't go 6 innings.
Well, he also, won 30 games in one season or whatever?
No, that was Denny McClain.
Was that McClain?
Denny
Lolich.
The year they won the World Series, 68, Denny McClain won the 30 games. Mickey Lolich was the better pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay, stop. I can explain. When Denny McClain pitched, now this on every team, this happens probably with the Tigers, Phillies, Atlanta, every team. Certain pitchers don't get any run support. They just don't. The other pitchers get 10 runs a game. Well, Denny McClain was the one that year that got all kinds of run support. Mickey Lolich would pitch and he'd win 1-0 or lose 2-1. But when they got to the World Series, he was the better pitcher. McClain he was okay after that, but he was the one that won 30 games that year. All right, let's see. Sonny Jurgensen, my favorite football player of all time, being a old Redskin fan, passed away. He was 90 years old. The Yankees signed Paul Goldschmidt 1 year, and he's 38 years old. They signed him for 1 year. Yasiel Puig was convicted of 2 counts of making false statements on betting inquiry, federal, so he's going to be sentenced in May. Buck Martinez, who played 17 years in the major leagues and for several years has been a broadcaster with the Toronto Blue Jays, is retiring. So he's retiring from the booth. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and Terrence Gore, 34, passed away. He was a stolen base guy. He was known for stealing bases, broke in with Kansas City. He won 3 World Series, one with Kansas City in 2014, in 2020 with the Dodgers, and 21 with Atlanta.
Hi, welcome to the channel, Red Light. Nice to met you the other night on the other channel. So
all right. Now, Keegan Aiken of the Orioles, why is this significant? He's the first arbitration win by a team.
That's what I was thinking of, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah. And, yeah, Mickey Lolich was one of the best pitchers, in baseball.
I was just reading why he's not in the Hall of Fame, but I know he got in trouble for tax evasion, too. So that was kind of his downfall. Hey, what's up, Orlando? Nice to have you here tonight, brother.
All right, the Mets signed outfielder MJ Melendez, 1 year, $1.5 million, and another $500,000 in incentives. And Pittsburgh signed Marcell Ozuna today or yesterday, 1 year, $12 million, and they have an option for 2027.
I can tell you right now, the Pirates,
they're looking for a little power.
They tried to get Schwarber. They got Ozuna. I wouldn't be surprised if they sign their 2 top pitchers this year somewhere. Maybe they're trying to do something. Maybe they watch the channel, Dad. I don't know. We keep dogging them the athletics.
Well, maybe they're reprogrammed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so, because that city that's such a historical sports town and baseball team to not done nothing in so long. I mean, I don't need them to win the World Series. Just be competitive.
All right, we have another trade. The Red Sox got infielder Caleb Durbin, and he was a Rookie of the Year finalist also. He got him from from Milwaukee, and infielder Andrew Monasterio. Milwaukee got left-handed pitcher.
Oh, I got corrected. Danny McLean was the one. I thought it was.
Well, Danny McLean was in trouble with the law for different things. And that was one.
Because I actually met Mickey Lolich when I was in Iowa. He signed a baseball at a card shop for me.
He was a heck of a pitcher.
Yeah,
Milwaukee, he got left-handed pitcher Kyle Harrison, infielder David Hamilton, and left-handed pitching prospect Shane Drohan from the Red Sox. The Red Sox got Caleb Durbin to play third base since they couldn't sign a third baseman.
Right.
Oh, the White Sox did sign somebody. They couldn't find anybody else, so they signed Eric Fetty to a one-year contract. I remember when Eric Fetty was a rookie, and now he's 33 years old. That's how old I am.
Yeah, I know a lot of teams were putting out their non-rostered MLB invites this week. There's some interesting names on some interesting teams. So if y'all have time, look at your favorite your team and into your non-MLB invites. I bet you there's a couple of names on there you're going to recognize and go, wow, okay. Because the players are so young or so good. The older players sometimes gets bumped out and they get kicked around a little bit in the league. So, look at your rosters, see who's going to be at your so Craig Kimbrell is going to be at the Mets. He's a non MLB roster.
He signed a minor league contract.
Well, he's actually a non-rostered invitee to the MLB for the major team spring training. So he's one of the names I was thinking about. So,
well, Miami signed veteran right-handed pitcher Chris Paddock, 1 year, $4 million, $500,000, another $500,000 incentives to pitch in their bullpen. I don't bet. I don't gamble. But I was looking at, reading an article, and they had one of the big gambling houses in Las Vegas is brokering each division who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
The National League East, they're favoring the Mets. The Mets, the Phillies, Atlanta, Miami, and Washington. That's the way they had it lined up.
Well, don't be surprised if we have another great rookie pitcher this year, McLean. He's going to be pitching for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. So he is a top-notch. And we got Turing also coming back from last year. Twang, I can't say his last name, but he had a good second half of the year for a bad team. So I think we're going to be sneaky good on the mound, at least with starters.
Well, it's kind of interesting, and some of the players. I read another article where some of the players are already talking about next year. We're in about next year.
They have to.
You got to play this one first, guys.
Yeah, but it's your job. If you're sitting here, they got to prepare themselves. Just because they're millionaires, they're spending that money like it's millionaires. So they got to have enough money to last if they do have a lockout or a strike, whatever they call it next year. So it's understandable.
And they were talking about Eddie Matthews. I remember the 57 and 58 World Series where the Milwaukee Braves played the Yankees. And in both World Series, it was strange. In both World Series. Now, at that time, the team with the best record didn't have home field. they alternated. One year the National League was the home team. The next year the American League was the home team. Didn't matter the record. Record didn't count because there was only 2 leagues, 8 teams in each league, and you didn't have playoffs. You only had the World Series. So Milwaukee was playing the Yankees in '57, and the Yankees won the first 2 games. Well, everybody said, well, that's it. Milwaukee won the series in 7. Eddie Matthews had a fantastic World Series, and Lou Burdette. Warren Spahn was the ace of the staff. It was Warren Spahn, Lou Burdette, and Bob Buell. And Lou Burdette was the star of that World Series. Then the very next year, they played the Yankees, and Milwaukee played again. Milwaukee won the first 2 games. Well, I've never been a Yankee fan, so I'm going, oh, yeah. Yankees won the World Series in 7. And I'm going, oh, my goodness. But, I mean, that was some Milwaukee team. I mean, they had Hank Aaron and, Del Crandall was a catcher. They had Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews. Joe Adcock was the first baseman. I just remember those teams from the 50s because it was those, to me, when I was a kid, I looked at the game differently than I do as an adult.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I look at the game now differently as an old man than I did as a young adult, a younger adult. I just look at the game differently. We were sitting there watching the golf tournament Saturday. And I was sitting there, and this guy, he sinks a 26-foot putt, 27-foot putt for an eagle. He goes to the next hole, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and your stepmom's sitting in her recliner, and I'm sitting in mine. I said, well, he's going to hit the water on this one.
It's law of averages.
And he tees off, and the ball goes in the water. And your stepmother, she goes, how do you do that? No matter what sport we're watching, you're calling this stuff before it happens. I said, honey, I've been watching this stuff for 70-some years. There's patterns to everything. There's patterns to everything in life. In sports, it's got patterns to it. It's patterns. Stuff goes cyclical. And she said, yeah, but it drives me nuts. And I said, oh, okay. So anyway, I have that effect on a lot of people. But anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention tonight was
did they back to the young gentleman that died? Did they say what, or did you say it? I was reading.
From what I understand, I didn't quite hear all of it on MLB, but he had it was either complications from surgery or complications for some disease. I heard complications, but it didn't. It kind of got garbled, and they didn't quite understand what they said.
Right. Okay.
But he said it was complicated. He was 34 years old.
I was reading, and because he's one of those guys that played on several teams, so everybody was having on their team pages something to say.
Well, I remember when he was on that. I remember when he was on that Kansas City team and a little bit on the Dodgers, but really the World Series when he was with Atlanta when they won, and 21 when he only had something like 175 at bats in 47 years in the major leagues. He was just a base stealer.
Thank you, Battery. That sucks. Routine surgery.
That's what I thought it was surgery, but it's terrible. I mean, here again, a friend of mine, he's a Yankee fan, but he's a good friend of mine at church. He's 90 years old. He fell today and broke his hip. And so that's, when you're old, stuff happens. And this young man is 34 and he has complications from surgery and passes away. It's sad.
Yeah, that is. That's
but I mean, you talk about fast.
Yeah.
And I remember in Kansas City, late in the game, somebody get on first base, and the crowd would start going, steal, steal, steal. And then they would start hollering this guy's name because they wanted the manager to put him in so he'd steal. And but it was really a shame, a young guy like that. I mean, Sonny Jurgensen passed away. He was 90 years old, and Mickey Lolich is in his 80s. So, but 34, that's just terrible. And he was actually a very good ball player. You're required to be, probably so. Oh, and this is a little, maybe you know and maybe you don't. 75% of the time especially an older person, their hip breaks and that's why they fall. The hip breaks and then they fall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never didn't know that.
Yeah, I was told that by my orthopedic surgeon. 75% of the time, that's the fall is caused by the hip breaking. There's all, stress on a hip 75, 80, 85, 90 years. It has flaws.
So somebody that has seen as much as you have, is there anything that we're going into spring training that you're looking for? Because you'll sit there and watch MLB all day starting tomorrow. Is there anything
except when I'm doing my chores? But yeah,
right. What anything or any player or any team that you're looking to see something out of, or what they got, or anything intriguing you going into this spring training? Because you sit there and you watch the games like it's regular games, but you like to see the young guys play. You want to see what.
Oh, I watch the spring training games because I want to see the younger players.
Yeah, please in the chat if you got something that you're looking for, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I'm intrigued to see how much improvement there is in the Orioles this year. That was a huge. I'm a Washington Nationals fan, but in the American League, I root for the Orioles.
Right, me too.
And that was a huge disappointment last year. They just didn't look the same. They had a lot of same players, but they just didn't look the same. Mm-hmm. And some of them had bad years. Rushman didn't have a good year. Gunnar Henderson took him half the year to get started. I'm looking
with the Orioles last year. The one player that was missing the key was Santander. I hope I'm saying that right. The outfielder that went to Toronto.
Santander. He went to Toronto and got hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, he was a piece. He seems like he was kind of a bigger piece than everybody thought.
Well, he was a catalyst, and he was a catalyst in the lineup in that. But they also had some injuries, not like Atlanta, but they also had, especially to their pitching staff. At one point last year, their pitching staff, when they listed their pitchers, they listed 8 pitchers, and 3 of them were having Tommy John surgery, right, or recovering from Tommy John surgery.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how improved they are. I have I'm not. The week before the season starts, we make all our predictions and everything. But I am the other team I'm really curious about is Seattle.
Yeah, you're becoming a Seattle fan here.
Oh, I love Seattle.
Yeah,
I love. They re-signed the first baseman that they needed,
Josh Naylor.
They have some of the best pitching in all of baseball. Now, if they can just score enough runs,
and their catcher is
they would be right at home in the American League Central because nobody scores any runs. And this young man is delusional.
He's talking about next year, not this year. Next year, when they got a season.
Yeah, when there's no season. Of course, this was the same guy with the cup holders.
Yeah. Good callback.
Yeah, I was still thinking about that the next day. I mean, it was Tuesday. We do the show on Monday night. Tuesday, I'm walking around going, my wife and I are in the grocery store, and I said, I wonder if those cup holders are really refrigerated. She said, what? I said, never mind. I said, never mind. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to find something to talk about in Walmart. But that's another thing, boys and girls. If you don't go to Walmart, you will when you get old. But I think the other thing to watch this year, spring training won't have much to do with it, but the other team to watch this year is the Yankees. Because if they have a halfway decent record, when they get all their pitchers back, when they get Schmidt, Rondon, and Cole back, they're going to be hard to beat. They're going to be hard to beat in the American League, but they got to score runs too, and sometimes they got a lot of strikeouts in that lineup. But I'm really curious to see if the Orioles do a little better this year. A lot of their fans are upset because they didn't sign Flambert. But boys and girls, it's buyer beware. Buyer beware. Just about all of these free agents that were signed this year, almost all of them, have missed time in the last few years with injury. So it's buyer beware. The other thing is, too, if you watch Valdez pitch the last couple of years, he throws a lot of pitches because he throws a lot of balls. I mean, a lot of pitchers do. It drives me nuts when a pitcher goes 0-2 and then he's 3-2 because he won't throw it. He's trying to make the batter swing at his pitch. Well, then he goes 3-2 and has to groove it and see you. I mean, when they were talking about speeding up the game before they put in the pitch clock and the bigger bases and he couldn't throw over but 3 times and this other stuff, which I'm all for it. Thank you, Lord, that the game goes faster. I can watch a whole game before I fall asleep. But I had a great idea for speeding up the game. Just have every batter come into the batter box and say it's 3-2. Because almost every batter went 3-2. It just seemed that way. Because the pitchers didn't pitch like they used to.
I believe we are, Battery. I think this is the year of the automatic strike zone.
They're supposed to do that this season. Yes, that's correct. They're going to have the automatic, the tapping the hat thing. They've had it in the minor leagues for the last 4 years, and they've had rave reviews for it down there.
You'll still have the umpire back there in case somebody questions it or something breaks or whatever. It doesn't read the pitch for whatever. Still have the umpire. But one last question before we get out of here: have you seen the mock-ups or the digital pictures for the new Tampa Bay Stadium that they're want to build?
No, I have not.
They got like a college. They got like 3 different entities trying to put into this.
Yeah.
So it's going to
Miami's going to go back to their. I saw on MLB this morning the teal, their throwback jerseys that they had when they started.
Oh, really?
That teal color. That thing is a nice looking shirt.
Can't win. At least sell some merchandise.
Yeah, sell some merch. Yeah,
but anyway,
fans. I mean, the team that had 65 to 10,000 seat ballpark had more fans than you did.
You got anything for us to who moves to their stadium sooner, A's or, Battery, the A's thing? I'm still I'm not 100% sure they're going to be the team that's in.
No, the Rays stadium is going to be started this year. They're going to start building a Rays stadium this year across the street from where the Bucks play. Who knows when they're going to start building the stadium in Las Vegas because they haven't got the money straight.
It's been started. They broke the ground. Now,
but they don't have the money straight. What
have they done since then?
They stopped.
Yeah, that's what I know. I know that.
They had 12 guys out there with the silver shovels, and they went boom, 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 and they dug it up for about a week, and they stopped because the money ran out.
Right. So what yogiism or do you have one for us?
Oh, yeah, I have a yogiism. It was in the off season, and they were. I mean, this isn't funny, but it's just. It reminded me somewhat of my grandson.
Oh God!
They were riding in a car. They were going to play golf, and they're on the way to the golf course, and it starts raining. And Yogi goes, "Where did that come from?" Now, the reason that reminded me of my grandson Mason, Uncle Scott, Pawpaw, and Mason, when Mason was a little bitty guy, were on the way to a ball game in Washington. And it started raining. And my grandson goes, "Where did that come from? Is the game going to be rained out?" And we're about still 70 miles from Washington. So, we went up there and we saw the game in there, but it just reminded me of that.
Yeah. Some great times.
He said that too. Yeah. I get this on being ambidextrous.
Yeah, I want to thank y'all for stopping in. Thank y'all for joining in on the conversation. Please continue it on for anybody who watches later. Let us know what you're looking for going into spring training. if you got a way to fix the season for 2027, let MLB know.
And this next Monday show, we'll be in the spring. We'll be into the spring training. So
yeah, I probably will have some WBC talk for next Monday, World Baseball Classic. So, if you're into that, not much. We'll just touch on some of the players and who they're playing for. I like the way MLB does it. If you have some heritage, you can play on that team. Italy, to me, is a little fascinating because of that. So until
the next show, the Battery is going to be in Scotland.
Oh, sheesh. Okay. Well, Carl, you let me know how that goes for you.
Yeah, I hope he packs his kilt.
Yeah. Hey, I know where you can get one. So until next time, like, share, tell a friend, and we will see ya.